Again, I've been trying to do this live for about 10 days, I think. Always something comes up in the middle of it, or on the weekend the internet was down and so on. So we've got a spare moment and I thought I'd tell you a few different things. The story of the moment is this, the actual prize giving presentation. It's going to be on April the 22nd that everyone knew. It's here in Les Sables alone. It is a public, open, free presentation process on a big stage out the front of the Atlantic Casino here in Les Sables alone. So it's right on the edge of the famous channel where you come in. So if you're coming to Les Sables alone, it's on the foreshore, and it starts at 3:30 in the afternoon. It goes for about an hour and a bit of all the official bits. All the entrants will be there, and then after that Jean-Luc's going to carry on with his band, and there'll be like a 1 hour concert, so that's pretty cool. And there's some pretty amazing trophies that the entrants are going to get, and I just thought I'd show you one because you won't get to sort of see it that well on stage. It's a handmade astrolabe made by the people called Meridian. They do all sorts of traditional navigation, but anyway, this is an astrolabe they've made them, by hand. It's incredible. It's a bit hard to even show you on the pictures, but it's got all of the entrance names around the back here, and an astrolabe preceded a lot of things, including a sextant and so on, but it does the same thing. You can actually determine your latitude by a meridian sort of altitude of the sun, and instead of using a sextant to measure the distance from your eye to the horizon, you're literally just hanging that here, and you actually get the sun to shine through a tiny little hole which is on here, and you can vary that. So you hang it down so it's just gravity's holding it there, and you just move this until the sun goes through a little hole there just on the side there. The sun goes through and lines up with the mark on the bottom there, and then you can read the angle of the sun. So if you imagine this is a vertical line going down there, when you line that up, then you know that is the angle going up to the sun, so you can read it off of there. And by taking a meridian reading, which means it's due north of you as at the absolute highest point, you can then calculate a latitude. So that was one of the first instruments, and it's pretty cool. And that's going to be presented to is it bad luck if I say who it's going to? I don't think it is. It's going to the last GGR entrant that arrives during the prize giving, so not Tapio. This will go to Istvan. But anyway, it's pretty cool, so thanks for Meridian for that. So what else has been happening? Heaps going on. First of all, Tapio's he rang in today. You might have been listening to his SoundCloud. He's happy. He knows he's not going to make it for the prize giving. We're going to talk to him when he's up there, so we'll have a quick chat to him while he's there. Everything's good on the boat. He's got water, he's got food, everything's tackling along just fine. He's just not going to be here in time, which is bad luck. Even worse, Jane and I won't be here. We've run out of visa time. We actually leave at the beginning of May, but there'll be a huge reception for him when he gets here, and the team will still be well represented, represented, and a lot of things going on still. Next one, boats and so on. There's still a few GGR boats for sale. Istvan is out with his sponsors, doing some bits and pieces in the rest of Europe here, and there's a couple of people coming in to look at his boats. So interest in the 2022 GGR is quite incredible. We're yet to be seen. We've officially locked in something like about 16 entries now, and there's some people that say their money's in the mail and they're signing on, but we'll wait and see. So I think we're technically full, but we've got to wait until we get that. Jesse's back in Australia working on the documentary. Everyone's asking about the films, and Ellie Vanderbroek is working on the Super 8 film. There'll be a little clip of that at the prize giving presentation. Jesse's working on the trailer for the documentary, the main one, so that'll be there as well. There'll be some good stuff going up. It'll be live on Facebook again. Our friends at RCA are going to help us with that. It'll be live. If you can't come from some other strange part of the world, you'll be able to see it. So that's all good. If you're down here this weekend, for those that are around Les Sables alone or coming in, there's a boat show here this weekend, a second-hand type boat show, and 3 of the boats are there. Istvan's boat's there, Uku's boat's there, and Jean-Luc's boat's there without a mast. He's getting a new mast built, and that'll be going up shortly. But a lot of other things happening here this weekend. And in fact, there's always something happening in Les Sables on the Vendée Marina here. There's the big university games coming up after this boat show, and then after that we've got the Beneteau 3, the Figaro foilers. They're coming in for the Metrocoque series of races here in the middle of April, so kind of fun when you look out the window and you've got all these new boats turning up. That's cool. And what else? Oh, two things to watch out for. Another opportunity for the serious GGR family. Each of the entrants in the GGR will be getting something quite special. It's called a bulkhead plate. So it's a gold plate that records their times and everything, and it's got Suhaili on it. They're really quite unique. And we thought, because we know there are quite a few serious GGR family out there, so the entrants will get their bulkhead plate, and it's quite something special. But we're actually going to release 18 to the GGR family, so keep an eye out for that. You'll see the photos, you'll see the bits. There'll be an opportunity for you to actually buy one of the GGR bulkhead plates. So keep an eye on that, and of course the Suhaili official. There'll be 50 official Suhaili models going out as well, and who knows how long they'll go, but they'll only ever be 50, and could take 1, 2, 3, 4 years to sell, whatever. But they'll be worth looking at, and stand by for more on that. Okay, that's about it. So questions and answers. I can't think of anything else that's happening here. Just that there's a lot of anticipation, lining up for the prize giving. It'll be quite fun. It'll be the first time that all the entrants are back here together since the start, and that's going to be a bit of a buzz. We're all talking about it. We've a few people coming in for the Easter weekend. Also, Joshua will be here. Okay, we spent Saturday up with the museum in La Rochelle a few days ago. It was their annual general meeting. We told them all about 2022, what we're planning with Joshua, because this edition of the GGR was a focus on Suhaili, the winner, and Sir Robin Knox-Johnson and so on. It's been fantastic. And in 2022, the focus will be sort of on Joshua and Bernard Matessia's story, because it was an epic as well. They're the two highlights, and then obviously all the others had stories as well. But it'll be quite something here for Les Sables d'Olonne, and we're still talking about 2022, where it's going to be. And all I can say is the negotiations are going extremely well at the moment, and we'll hope to make a final announcement on April the 22nd. And hopefully we'll be here in 3 or so years' time for the next edition, which will be a bit of fun. Joshua will be on the marina for Saturday, Sunday, Monday of the Easter weekend, and they'll possibly have an opportunity to take people out for sale. I know some of the entrants are desperate to go for sale on Joshua, so they'll be lining up as well. So that's cool. She's just out on the hard at the moment. Joshua's being winter refit, just finishing, and just being relaunched in the next few days. So that's pretty good. Okay, so questions here. Only a few questions. One from Oliver Schonrock, trying to understand what the root cause of Istvan's steering challenge has been now that he's back. Cobra low reduction wheel steering is not suitable for such a journey, for indeed for the use with a pendulum wind vane. There seems to be some suggestion that other pendulum wind vane systems might have been different, but I don't understand how that could be. Could you please explain? No, I don't think there's any issue about the pendulum systems being different. They're all the same. They work on a servo pendulum rudder in the water, okay, and that rudder swinging from side to side when it turns, okay, pulls a rope, and that rope goes through to the steering system. So all the servo pendulum systems would basically do the same thing in terms of pulling the ropes. The difference lies if you have a hydrovane type wind vane. That's an auxiliary rudder system. That's a rudder that goes in the water, has nothing to do with the ship's tiller or the ship's wheel. They're locked off, so fixed, so the ship's rudder is fixed, and this new rudder at the very back end of the boat, hanging off the transom, right as far back as you can get it, becomes very efficient. And so when the flip-flop plane's turning, it's actually steering the boat rudder, steering that rudder direct through its own rudder, an auxiliary rudder hanging off the back. So it doesn't affect the pedestal and so on. So you're not likely to wear out your steering gear and things like that. So that's the issue. Any of the pendulum type wind vanes like the Aries or the Wind Pilot, they do exactly the same thing. They're pulling the ropes, so that's not an issue. Ruth Sanders, is Tapio out of fuel? Just wondering why he didn't use his engine to help him get through the recent areas of no wind. Tapio's never had an engine in this race. He's got a brand new one on board, but unfortunately it's had serious problems. It had problems sailing to Falmouth at the start. It then had problems. They lost it again from Falmouth to Les Sables alone. They tried to fix it. The engine was running for the first number of days at the start of the race, but then it died and it's all over. He's never had an engine for the whole trip, so he's got plenty of fuel. He's still all on board. Okay, Ruth Elliston wants to know, regarding Tapio knowing he has a barnacle problem, is there any chance GGR could grant Tapio a reprieve, invite him to find a safe harbour and hire a diver to clean off his barnacles so he can get home sooner? With penalties applied, he might still get back before the awards ceremony. Well, he's known that for a long time, and we don't grant a reprieve. He just carries on under the notice of race, but he could have actually stopped and anchored in a bay, not have any Chichester issues, and dived over the side and done that, but he didn't want to. It would have been challenging. He doesn't have an engine, so to close the coast and get into a bay to do that becomes quite risky. If the wind changes or whatever, you can't sail out. So he just decided that the cost-benefit factor or risk-return factor wasn't really worth it, so he's happy to carry on. So it's no point in us saying anything. We can't do anything to help Tapio there. His own decisions, and he's quite happy. In fact, we had a bit of a discussion. It was a safety call, but he rang over the weekend and we discussed a few different things, and Tapio being Tapio, he's sort of saying, oh look, I don't expect you to keep the race office open, I'm late, you guys just go and pack up and disappear, and I'll come along eventually. And I said, don't worry Tapio, there's going to be a huge reception when you get here, so it's not a drama, but he's being the typical gentleman again, not wanting to cause us any issue. And in fact, on that, after the prize giving, things are already quietening down here now, although Jane and I are incredibly busy, talking with 22 and other things that are happening around here. Christoph he's on other projects now, and Celine's only in part-time doing bits and pieces, so Barry's over in the UK. When we flash something up, he gets busy. So when the prize giving's finished, it even winds down a little bit more. But of course, the GGR Facebook page and the GGR website continues, and there will always be things happening there right the way through to the build up to 2022. So don't lose track of us. It's all still happening. What you'll find is once we launch the new entrants for 22, they'll be featured a lot as we go through. You'll be learning about their backgrounds, about their boats they're choosing, what's happening, all that sort of stuff. So there's a whole new family coming up. And the amazing part is that when I'm talking about we're nearly full of entries in the Suhaili class for 22, there's only one of the 2018 entrants that actually has reapplied, and that's Urton. But there's a bunch of them say they're really keen to come back, and we just don't have enough special invitations. So that'll be interesting to watch. I think some people that might be hoping to get in, there might not be space. So that'll be one thing to keep an eye on as well. There's going to be a lot of things happening, so it'll be a bit of fun. Anyway, where do we get to? So Mike Phillips, Don, I did not see any mention of Istvan's fingernail problems on his arrival, so assume all is okay. Is this correct? Well, you probably saw he was wearing his sailing gloves. Didn't cover up his fingernails, but we heard before he arrived that Eva, his wife, was trying to buy some white cotton gloves, so he didn't want to pass on this mold or fungus or whatever it is. But in all honesty, I took photos of his hands. We took portraits. We do that for all the entrants. As soon as they get off the boat, we've taken portraits to compare it to when they left. And I took photos of his fingers, and they didn't look too bad, actually. They looked a little bit better than they did in Hobart. But anyway, we'll show a comparison of that later on. So the fingers are not such as big a problem. And he said himself with that new supplement thing that it had actually stabilised it. So it's not too bad. Okay, and there was another one here. And of course, keen for an interview on board. Yeah, we will do an interview on board with Istvan when he gets back. He was in a rush to get out because he had to meet up with one of his sponsors in Germany really quick, but he's on his way back soon, and so we'll do that. And he's just saying he watched Deep Water documentary. It is really good. Some of you, the late joiners, might not know about this, but there is a documentary called Deep Water. It's a 1.5 hour documentary on the original GGR. It's absolutely fantastic, and you can get it on YouTube. If you Google or get onto YouTube and do a search for Deep Water, it's incredible. If you haven't seen it, you'll love it. Okay, Nini Nicole wanted to know, is it possible to get the name of the fruit and vegetable? Excuse me for a minute. Whoops-a-daisy. The fruit and vegetable supplement. This is funny. Okay, the fruit and vegetable vitamin shown by Istvan Kapar, solo navigator, during the press conference. Here it is. It's interesting stuff. It's a balance of nature. I did a bit of reading on it, and some people might enjoy it, some people won't. I don't know. I haven't tried it yet, but Istvan, actually, that present, if you're watching, he gave me a present when he got back from his race. It was a silver package, and inside the package was these 2 bottles. So I'm going to try it out and see what it is. But this is one of those things when if you've got lots of fresh fruit and veggie in the shop, it's easy to go and do it. But if you're on a boat in a GGR, this stuff could be dynamite. And effectively, the way I see it, and I'm completely inexpert on this, I've got no opinion yet because I haven't tried it. I don't even know whether I need it. I keep putting on too much weight in France, because have you ever seen the patisseries and the boulangeries? They're outrageous. Even in the supermarket, you go in and the sweets rack is like bigger than Ben-Hur. But anyway, that's another story. These are, from what I can see, my explanation of it is they're like you get a bunch of fresh fruit and vegetables and you sort of freeze dry them. Powder them up, freeze dry, you get powder, and then they come into a little capsule, and in that capsule is concentrated fruit and veggies. That's it. It's not like a vitamin tablet. It's thingo. So anyway, so it's balance of nature, and you can Google it and you can see it there. It's only in America now. Price is interesting. These are about $60 US a bottle, and you take 3 a day, so that's about a month or something. But anyway, it's I don't know, might be worth looking at. I haven't gone down that track yet, but I know Istvan's pretty happy with them, so that's interesting. Okay, Clive Wales wanted to know, will there be a boat tour of Istvan's boat? Yes, there will. Interesting to hear about all the fixes. Yeah, they are interesting. I was surprised at his emergency tiller. It wasn't what I thought, the issues there and so on. So that's interesting. Bill Brooks said, according to the notice of race, any propeller can be used. Do you know the most common propeller used in the race? Feathering, foldering, or fixed blade? Well, to my knowledge, Kevin Fairbrother was the only one that had a fixed blade. Total nightmare. You'd never do it. I worked out conservatively with the 3-blade fixed propeller on a GGR boat, it's going to cost you at least 2 weeks and probably up to a month extra time by dragging that big 3-blade prop through the water. So pretty well everyone else in the race was using either a feathering or a folding prop. The difference being with a feathering prop, if you imagine there's the propeller out like that, they come together and just drag behind the boat. Sorry, that's a folding prop. Okay, so they just fold up and they drag behind the boat, and there's no real resistance. A feathering prop, they turn, and so you get your pitch and all the rest of it by changing the angle. But when you're underway, if the boat's moving this way, they both line up like that and they run through the water like that. So that's the feathering prop, and I think it's a bit of a mix. Feathering is usually more expensive than folding, and they're all pretty good. So if I was doing the GGR, I would definitely have a feathering or a folding prop. So that's really about it. Still, the questions are getting less and less. The answers are all out there. There's less happening now, so we'll occasionally put it up. I've been trying to do it once a week. I'd probably say now it's going to be every couple of weeks. I'll put question and answers up, and we'll keep you updated with what's going on. Jane and I, we head back to China for a few weeks after it's happening, so we'll update you from there. There's a way around the Facebook thing. I probably shouldn't say that because the Chinese will get onto me. But anyway, and then when we get back to Tonga on the island, we'll be filing from the island. So you get to see the Royal Namuka Yacht Club, the flagpole. That's the host yacht club, and there'll be a lot of interesting things happening during the year as well. And who knows, if you're coming through Tonga, you can always come and visit Jane and I on the island. It's a cool place. It's a fantastic island. It's a little tropical uninhabited island called Namuka Iki, if you want to get it on Google Earth. And beautiful beaches, beautiful water. It's going to be pretty cool. But the weather here, by the way, has changed dramatically. Summer is coming. It's blue sky days and sun, and the Les Sables is looking good. Thanks for that. See you next time.